welcome back to the 1009 podcast. Got the boys back here after another little hiatus, but we got a weekend that just hit us, and it is some bullshit. That's all I'm going to say. Getting right into it.
Yeah, Subjective Sunday, known to some as Selection Sunday, took place last night, and did not go great for the Clemson Tigers, which is why we're all pissed off. So,
here's what I'll say about it, and it's just like the ACC tournament, or not the ACC tournament, top 25, and it's the reason why the NFL playoffs are what they are, and they don't make it off of some random metric. The top 25, as well as all of these metrics, they rank high what they value, like what the creator values. And then if you beat what the creator values, then you're going to be ranked higher, even though, like, who knows, maybe whatever team is actually a better team than what this random metric says. So it just propagates its own incest in a way. And that's the thing that makes me mad. Okay. Should we have lost? Okay. Should we have lost to Louisville? No.
No.
Should we have lost to South Carolina?
No. Should we lost by 20 to Virginia? No. After beating NC State by 20.
Should we have lost to Loyola Chicago? No.
Yeah. We could have beat Iowa. Iowa's I'll give them Iowa. Iowa's ranked.
I mean,
still 3-point loss.
The problem is our best win was against a team and we beat them 3 times. I mean, I guess you could
Duke also.
Yeah.
Duke, Penn State.
That's a minor one. Yeah.
The best checkbox we had on our resume is like, look, we beat NC State 3 times. Like, I guess NC State's just not a great matchup for we're not a great matchup for NC State. So
I think we went 5-3 against all the ACC teams that made it in the tournament.
3 seed should never not in the ACC should never should miss the tournament. Should never.
We weren't the
Especially
only team that got
seed
screwed,
makes it.
but
yeah.
Well, the 4 seed made it because they won it. Duke was a 4 seed. No, they were 5th seed. They're 5th seed. My bad.
Yeah.
No,
Duke was 4 seed. Yeah, they got a double bye. Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way.
Never mind that.
But yeah, I mean, we weren't completely the only team that got screwed. Rutgers has a case as well.
Rutgers got more than us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
they should fit in.
Yeah,
they weren't even really on the bubble.
They should have been where NC State is right now. Is just clear of the last 4 in.
There's just no consistency. I don't like why did NC State at least not get dropped to the last 4 in when they got
I don't know,
out of the water by a team to end the season, regular season, kind of by a team that didn't make it. Makes no
26 points on a neutral floor in your own state. Yeah, that's pretty embarrassing.
Yeah, the neutral floor is 20 miles from Raleigh or something like that.
And it was 14 and 24 points before that. So, I mean, I don't understand it. When I saw them above the last 4 in line, I had some hope that we would, by virtue of that, be in. And then I saw Pitt in the last 4 in, and I knew we were just absolutely shafted. Again, a Pitt team we went to and beat. So, I really don't get it.
We also, I mean, the thing is, if we beat just teams that we should have beat.
Yeah. We beat Boston College at one time, or
we're a 7th seed.
Virginia Tech, No, either way, we beat Louisville and we beat South Carolina. I mean, I say if we beat Louisville in general, we're in.
Probably.
Yeah, that's a 4-win team. Yeah.
That's just.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
on the road.
Not 4 ACC wins.
No, 4 wins since damn October.
But they were a conference tournament team.
I don't care.
The whole conference made it.
I don't care.
Okay, I'm about to say.
Yeah, I mean, head-to-head with NC State, maybe not the best way to look at it. I think Pitt is the team we should be circling as far as who we should have replaced. Because if you look at these metrics and how they're the created ones that we use now with actually no public definition, to Jacob's point earlier about beating expectations, it'd be nice to know what those expectations are. At least Ken Palm is defined. We can actually go look it up and do it by hand if we really wanted to. But Clemson 60th in the net, 64 in Ken Palm. Pitt 67 in the net, 77 in Ken Palm. I mean, we had a 76 record against quad 1 and 2. They were 7-9. Non-conference had the schedule both terrible, and we won head-to-head on the road. So I don't understand. If you're going to use head-to-head as a deal breaker in closed scenarios, how much closer can you get than that? And then you don't use it pretty blatantly. So
I mean, everyone, all these tournaments say, all these committees say they're going to use head-to-head, but they never do.
No, because we would have been in over Pitt and seeded higher than NC State.
Probably would have been, I was about to say, and over NC State too.
I think NC State had a better case than Pitt, but we had a better case than Pitt also. So I think that we get lost in the 3 head-to-head wins against NC State when, for whatever reason, and the reason is the bad losses, that our resume is not as comparable to theirs as Pitt. I think Pitt is the one that we need to really look at because the metrics are a lot closer. The non-conference is also bad difficulty-wise. But, I mean, Loyola was a tournament team last year.
Right.
Or 21, I think. I don't know.
Recently. That's the thing.
When you scheduled that game, that was not a cakewalk game.
That's kind of my gripe with everything, right? It's like you schedule these teams so far out. It's not – you can't blame a team for scheduling – if we scheduled Kansas and then their top 3 players go down for the year and they end up 500, that's not our fault. We scheduled Kansas.
Every team that scheduled North Carolina this year, that
and they
returned 4 starters and they sucked the entire year, and they were put ahead of us in the first 4 out, which is complete bullshit. I don't know what that was.
I mean, it's the name game. It's the brand.
They're 1-12 against quad 1, and we're the one. I just don't get it.
It's the name. When you picture March Madness, you think of
Roy
Kentucky,
Williams.
Duke,
not a single one of those
UNC.
players. You think of Roy Williams, and he's gone, and that team sucks.
Yeah, but the last picture that they had was last year when their coach took them there their first year.
And they blew a 15-point lead with the Roy's players. I mean, congrats. I mean, sure.
That's
and now this year, they're so high and mighty, they don't even want to play in the damn NIT. So fine.
Yeah, that would
have Baycott go on Outer Banks and not
take it. That was him.
Yes, that was him.
Okay, I knew it. I was with.
There are more Tar Heels in Outer Banks than postseason basketball this year, which is embarrassing and hilarious.
Tweet that.
I will. I thought about it last night in my tweets.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
So if you guys have alerts on for us, I'm sorry. I was angry and needed an outlet. So
it's cool. I mean, I'm not gonna say it was me, but I kind of insinuated Morgan Wallen sexually assaults people. So
a lot of those you probably didn't see, to be fair. But yeah, that's also there too. If you want to go back a little further. But
just delete it. It's deleted. It's deleted. It's deleted.
Well, I mean, I deleted it, so yeah, I'm aware. But fun on Twitter at 7 a.m. But I think this is just my main question is the program itself at blame at all for having a coach in year 13 that has zero benefit of the doubt? Should we not have a little bit of leeway with? I mean, obviously pundits were on our side with this, so I don't think it's a question of impressing. I mean, I think it was Dick Vitale, Jay Billis were leading the charge to get the Tigers in. Seth Davis maybe mentioned it as well.
Anybody that's calling our games or on the broadcast too.
Right. Yeah. And as we progressed in the ACC tournament, the run we had, however brief, mostly because of the double bye we earned over the course of the season, finishing 3rd in the ACC. If we beat Louisville and BC, we probably are the 1 seed, honestly. So I think that's.
In the ACC. I was like,
yes.
Damn it.
No, we'd be a 7 seed or in the tournament probably. If we win 4 bad games.
I test we're a tournament team. period. We're a tournament team.
Right, because the goalpost moved every time this team accomplished something. I mean, you had to beat NC State. Beat NC State by 26 points was not close. Destroyed them, plus 60 something in 3 games. And it's like, well, you got to beat Virginia to even have a chance. It's like, well, 24 hours ago, this whole narrative was beat NC State, the team that you somehow got lucky to beat by 40 in 2 matchups, and then you're in. And now we're hearing that that's not enough. They still somehow remain clear of the last 4 in, and then we're left out. I think us and Rutgers are definitely the 2 biggest snubs this year.
I mean, I never felt great about going into it.
Oh, I didn't either.
Oklahoma State has a case for sure.
They were listed as the first team out.
Probably 90% of the Big 12 has a case.
40.
Right, but if you go 7-13 or whatever it is in the Big 12, really?
Right. That's also another thing of mine. It's like
West Virginia. I mean,
you guys know this. I'm a big metrics guy. I'm a big advanced metrics guy. But they devalue wins somehow. And they value just who you play.
Quality losses.
It's like, no, like you should have to beat people.
Like there's no path to improve upon what your losses set you back to, which makes no sense.
What did we say earlier in the year with football? What ugly win or a pretty loss? Is that what we were saying? Yeah, pretty losses.
West Virginia made it at 19-14.
Right, because they were an average team in the best conference.
Correct.
Which the ACC has gotten a lot, not Clemson. We were like 30th in net 3 years ago and didn't get in. So, I mean, I'm kind of just done with this whole net idea, honestly. I just don't get it. South Carolina in 2016 in a similar boat as far as the bubble and being on the right side of the metrics and the wrong side of the field. So I don't really know what more we could do other than change the name of the front of the jersey or at least the optics of the program, which is kind of where people are looking today.
I guess 2019 was a bad year to be a net guy because in 2019 you had NC State miss it at 33, you had us miss it at 35, you had Texas miss it at 30, and Furman miss it at 41. And then in 21 you had Penn State at 42. Those are the highest. So history says that basically if you
the net doesn't matter.
Well, no, I mean history says that if you
does matter.
plus 42 in net, you should be guaranteed. Now we were not, but Rutgers was, Oklahoma State was right there. It just doesn't. Moving goalpost.
That's just the most frustrating part, I think, is this is the best Clemson season since Brownell got here, save for the Sweet 16 run. But did we even get double bye that year?
No.
I don't think we did. So
this is the first time we've gotten a double bye. I think this is the first time we've gotten a bye.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Not one bye, but
one bye. Yeah.
I mean, that run without Grantham was awesome. It was fun to watch. Almost beat Kansas, but I don't know. I struggle to, I guess, be able to say this program is moving in a definitive direction. And this is year 13. I mean, what are we doing?
As Brad Brownell's biggest hater, for lack of a better word, what does Grayson Hill think we should do? Where do we go from here?
Well, I think given today, Neff kind of answered that question for me. He's going to get more time. So I think we're back to
remove Neff. Remove Neff. Okay. Keep Neff in. What do you have to see here? What do you have to objectively, not Grayson's a hater. What do you have to see next year to keep Brown?
The tournament. Why are we doing this in the first place?
We said it this year.
It's not to host damn NIT games. I promise you that.
Hang on. Do you think the peak of Clemson basketball should be making the tournament what percent of years?
I think making it should be the standard, not the peak. But
40%.
I think every other is a fair, because years like this, you got to factor in where I will say this, and I said it on Twitter too. This is a tournament team with a tournament resume, and Brownell got them there. So I'm taking nothing away from Brownell for doing this year.
And that is Neff's point as well.
Right, which I agree with, honestly.
He has the ability. We've seen it. It seems like every other year, every 2 years. He gets a team in, they win a couple games, whatever. It's just that it's inconsistent. It's consistently inconsistent.
Well, he's only 3 for 13?
Right. It took a long time to get the program back to the heights where it was handed to him. And I think that
we got to bring back the full court press. Oliver Purnell, let's run it back.
Yeah, whatever DePaul said to Purnell in a closed room, they should go to jail for, because that did not work out for him at all. Aside from financially, probably. But
I
mean, what happened in baseball, right? That's our second best program as far as legacy, I think. Maybe first history-wise. Like, that's expectations-wise. That's not
before 2016.
2016.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. So we had a great program, right? Postseason all the time, right? Keys got handed to a player's guy who underachieved, and what happened? We fired him. We fired him.
Yeah, but this player's guy has been here for 13 years.
I don't care. That's an indictment in itself, honestly.
I'm with you. But at the time of the hiring, our whole thing was you got to be a player's coach. Dabo's a player's coach.
Yeah.
He has learned how to toe that line, so to speak, very well. And that's kind of what's got his success. Like, people within the program, not like trying to gas us up or anything, know that like he's a lot less of a player's coach than like what you think, right? He'll still get on somebody's ass, right? But it doesn't work, I don't think, in baseball to be like so like pro ball players coach. And it doesn't work out in basketball because guys 18, sometimes 17 to 22, they need to get their ass chewed out and somebody's got to hold them accountable.
Which, he does from time to time. That's,
But you don't, like, yeah. I mean, the coaching style is what kills it, basically. I mean, because we've seen Brent Venables, like, literally almost chew a guy's ass. It seems like.
Right.
Oh.
I don't know what practice you were watching, Bailey. I struggle to keep lengthening the leash, I guess. But I think this is a unique circumstance where
yes,
the expectation was tournament, and I will be adamant until indefinitely this is a tournament team.
This year, it wasn't his fault they didn't make the tournament.
Well, it was. They lost to damn Louisville.
To a point.
That's his fault.
It still was.
Yeah.
We
even said before the Boston College game, everyone on Twitter, from what I saw, was like, here's the Brownell loss, and we went to Boston College and got our ass handed to us. I mean, it can't happen.
Yeah.
It cannot happen.
My thing is, what am I trying to say here? Oh, this year was more or less peak Clemson basketball.
Yeah.
This is the height of the program, unless we have some kid that grows up at, Daniel that grew up at Clemson.
Or in Spartanburg. Yeah.
Well, we messed on him. So, unless that
there's
happens,
a 5-star in Lexington right now, like number 1 overall.
Yeah. It's good too.
Not recruiting him.
But we're not going to get him. So
I mean, that's my other point.
Did we even try?
If you can argue the direction of the program as a whole, the recruiting direction is embarrassing.
It's terrible.
Like,
PJ help?
Really?
He grew up a Clemson fan, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, he was a lock.
He's the one you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm saying that's
the
a good recruit from Brownell.
Yeah, he's just not 50. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you look at top 100 guys, there are few, and there are fewer that actually stayed longer than 12 months. So I think that, are we going to have 5 stars all over the place? No. Is asking for 1 in 15 years a stretch? Probably not. I mean,
you can get 1.
NC State gets them all the time. Half of them go to the G League before they step foot on campus, but they bring them in. And I realize that's a lot more history to back them up than, the product now, because the product now we can just blow out of the water any court in the country pretty much. But I just struggle with Amir Sims and PJ Hall being the peak of Brownell's recruiting abilities.
This is a name. The last time we had a 5-star. The last time we had a 5-star was Milton Jennings.
In like 1985, probably.
No, this was in 2009.
Whatever. I mean, sure.
Like some of the we used to steadily be recruiting 4-stars.
Right.
But then
I'm not saying this needs to change overnight, but we have 1 3-star commit for next year coming in.
To be fair, you guys, I think we do have to understand that like 4 stars don't grow on trees like football.
Yeah, that's true. Basketball is a little bit different.
I'm looking at 24/7 right now. Player 128 is a 3-star.
Yeah.
Right, but we're not getting top 130 guys consistently.
Right.
And 3 stars are fine. I'm not saying we need to have 4 and 5 stars. If a 3-star plays like a 5-star, that's fine. But that's rarer than the 5 stars themselves.
I mean, we got some good guys. Like Dylan Hunter, he's going to be good. Middlebrooks has played well. Shefflin's going to be good. Like, the guys that he has now, he's got some guys. It's just.
Right, but when 2 of those 4 guys you just named transfer in 6 weeks, then what are we doing?
I don't think many of them will, honestly.
It's been a revolving door, and it's been a net negative as far as, just purely from a body standpoint, which we can argue addition by subtraction all day long. But it seems to me that we're using the portal because we can't recruit out of high school. And I swear, I haven't looked this up. That's on me, but we have to be almost at zero as far as guys in, guys out. And I know that like your 11th guy transferring is not the same as bringing in some guard that can make a difference. Like who's the Texas Tech kid, Mac? But I struggled to really. That's my main thing is we can have guys like this and have special seasons like this, but it's not repeatable if we're not bringing in guys to, I guess, carry the torch onward and upward.
I'll have some pushback on that.
I welcome it.
If you can get the top basketball recruits, a good basketball junior is better than a top 75 high school kid is.
Right.
Let that top 75 kid's better 4 years from now. I don't know, but like at that moment, if you want to win that year, you can win in basketball and even a little bit football. Now that we've seen kind of with TCU, you can win with transfers.
Yeah,
we just have to get
but we
better.
don't.
Yeah, the transfers that we're getting are who, where, what are you?
Right, and the guys that are leaving also not usually
Nick
major
Honor,
contributors,
Alamir
but they
Dawes.
could be. Right, and they're going elsewhere and they're playing better. So I think this is, and I'm not saying we have to nail it perfectly and go to a Final Four or anything. I'm just saying that if we really want to go to the tournament every other year, we're going to have to figure something out as far as just personnel-wise. And I mean, we see it every year in the tournament, to Jacob's point, these 15 seeds with senior guards that are just nasty go out and now play 18-year-olds that don't care. They're waiting on a Nike check in 3 months. So I think there's a point to that, but until we get in the tournament with senior guards, it's not going to matter. If we win the NIT, right, whatever. But if we don't win the NIT, I don't want to see a single banner for Final Four anything.
Right.
In that area. That's embarrassing.
To that point with the experience, go back to the last time we went to the Sweet 16. Gabe DeVoe, senior. Shelton Mitchell, senior. Elijah Thomas, senior.
I mean,
they were all seniors.
The key to success in the NCAA tournament is very simple. It's just have good, experienced guard play.
Yeah, and we had that,
right.
And that's why we went that far.
Chase Hunter's a fine player.
Yeah.
Chase Hunter's a fine player, but he's not here.
Maybe
but for 40 minutes he could be.
I'm saying he would. Yeah. I'm saying he's like if he was like our number 2 guard, like if he was our second best guard, we'd be a damn good team.
Yeah.
Yes.
But he's our number 1.
At the end of the day, like having a great center in college basketball tournament, you just need like 3 guys to catch fire from beyond the arc for 6 games, and you can win the whole thing.
That's what happened to us. Like literally, Gabe and Marquise and Shelton Mitchell, they would just sit there, jack up threes.
And then we were down by 39,000 against Kansas, and then almost came back.
Yeah, lost like 4. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I can't harp much more on Brownell and Clemson basketball. It's disappointing.
But expected.
I mean, but the disappointing part, I think, in all of this, if it was singular, it would be, Brownell's a nice guy. It's Clemson basketball. There's not many expectations. But we've seen with the immediate success of softball, now lacrosse.
Right. Nationally ranked programs.
Now, our men's soccer program is great. Our women's soccer program is pretty good. I mean, like, there's years where they're top 10.
They make the playoffs.
Playing postseason ball.
Women's basketball started in the cellar, and now we're in the NIT, which for us is...
We made the tournament a couple years ago.
Right. That is a clear direction. Yeah.
We did. It's like 2 years ago.
Plus, if you look at the entire, system of Clemson athletics, and we can kind of remove Clemson baseball from this because as of right now, it's down in the dumps, and it's too early to tell.
They're the only team with
in 15 games. 16 games.
Yeah, and I like a lot what I see out of Bakich, both as a coach and how the boys are playing. Too early to say anything. Way too early. But so if you take everything else of the coaches that have been there for a while, and especially the ones that had immediate success like softball and now women's lacrosse, we have the resources. We have the school. We have the alumni base. We have the fans. We have the facility. We have the NIL funds. Make it happen.
I think we led the country in men's soccer attendance. So,
yeah.
If they'll
Riggs
walk
is
over
always
there,
packed
they will
out no
walk
matter
into
what.
an arena.
I
If
bet
Mitch-
softball might be in top 5 in attendance this year.
Yeah.
Football?
Softball.
Softball.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They sell.
They sell out, but Oklahoma's.
Yeah, that's why I said
By
top 5.
capacity percentage, maybe.
Oh,
I wasn't going to
capacity,
say top.
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like everything is there to have any type of successful program that you want, and this all goes back to, Grayson. You just have to recruit. That's it.
Yeah.
Period.
Right.
As anything else, you got to recruit. We somehow, to be fair, for softball, we somehow convinced Michael Jordan to come, start a program, right? We convinced literally Shohei Ohtani to play softball at Clemson.
And stay at Clemson.
At Clemson. So
which is wild to me.
Props
I
to
think
that.
I think it's because a little different pro level, like.
Right, but Valerie Cagle could go to Alabama, Oklahoma, UCLA, anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Yeah. I see what you mean. Yeah.
Anywhere.
She goes to Oklahoma. She's getting paid and going to be going to get a national championship 3 straight years.
Right. But also, there's something to be said about staying in a program that, allows you to do both. She doesn't do both at Oklahoma.
Right, but every building associated with that softball program was going to be named after her immediately. So,
there's going to be a statue on home plate.
She's a Mizuno athlete. I'm sure the NIL collectives are taking care of her. So she's getting
should
paid.
be.
Yeah, but
5 days off of perfect 5 innings.
Right. It's always nice when you draft literally the Michael Jordan of softball. To come to your started. Yeah. That's enough. That's all I got for Clemson.
Yeah, my thing is,
Basketball-wise.
we seem to have this odd carve out with all the success and all the expectations for basketball because he's tenured and he's been average for a dozen years. I think it's just kind of ridiculous. But even in the face of a snub, I think it's fair to say at that point, I'm okay with. I don't want to extend him to 2028, but I think
now,
I'm tired of the extensions. I'm tired of the reworking of the contract.
They need to stop. We can't pay a $3 million buyout. Are you kidding me?
Just run it into
ridiculous.
next year.
Yeah. And if he has a losing record next year, doesn't even make the NIT.
He just got a $200,000 bonus for being the 3 seed in the ACC tournament. That's more than 95% of people make in a year. I don't want to hear about any financial woes with anybody.
How much do you think 5% of people make? Jesus Christ.
I don't know. Whatever. It
sounded good. It sounded good.
If the buyout should not be an obstacle at all.
There should not be a buyout at this point. Hey, you've been here 10 years. You've gotten paid from us pretty well. We understand the track record. We're not going to buy you out because of some knee-jerk reaction.
1 year flyer every year.
Yeah, we understand the problem.
Right. You're on a Kirk Cousins deal now, not a Mahomes deal. So prove it every year or you're gone. It's that simple.
Yep.
I say that's Clemson basketball talk.
Yeah, that's all I have.
Shall we get another sport? NFL is king. Free agency kicked off today, and it was 1 minute after another. You get notifications of this guy moving here, this guy moving there.
Yeah, but it was
no big names. Yeah.
The tampering period started at noon, and then
the signing is
the deals that have been agreed upon for 2 weeks are now public.
Right.
Led by, speaking of average, Jimmy Garoppolo to your guys' almost division champion Raiders. That was, I guess, the prize of the QB market if you don't count Sam Darnold headed out to the Bay to replace Jimmy G.
That's a big pickup.
The surprise of it all is that how reasonable the contract was.
Yeah. Right, and also 0 wide receiver deals today. So that was also something.
Would you rather have Jimmy G at 22 or Daniel Jones at 40?
Jimmy G has been to a Super Bowl, so I'm going to take him at, honestly, 35 if you're going to give me that, or Daniel Jones at 40 as an option. So
for Daniel Carr at 42?
I wouldn't give Carr a tenth of that, but sure.
You're such a Carr hater.
What if his performances have proved me wrong at this point, at all?
When he beat y'all.
Okay, in the regular season game that meant nothing. Sure, that's awesome. And I was going to the Saints.
What about to the one that was supposed to go to the playoffs?
As a wild card, neither one of those teams is beating the Chiefs anyway. That's fine too.
Hey.
But I think that's if your crowning achievement is your kicker won a game for you in week 18, then I think you've got some higher aspirations.
What's in the win? What's in that column under the W?
Just
1?
hang on. Just so we're clear, what is the Chargers' crowning achievement as a franchise?
We drafted
Phillip
a quarterback
Rivers?
that isn't limping down to the Saints right now.
You drafted a quarterback that has 17 kids.
I mean,
That's impressive.
Yeah.
yeah, that needs to be
The fact that
in
you're
canon
right,
somewhere.
I think that's more
That's
impressive.
a trophy. That is a trophy wife.
How many kids does he actually have?
It's like
11.
9.
11?
I think. I don't know. That's
Speaking of Chargers, do you want to get into your boy
Ekeler.
requesting? Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. He wants $13-15 million a year. We're not in a position to give him that. So I think he wants to go the Melvin Gordon route and take less to go to a worse team and then immediately fall off a cliff, then that's fine. He's coming up on 28 years old, and I love him. He scored 26 touchdowns the last 2 years, which is incredible. But I think that, if you're asking me, would I rather pay Ekeler or Justin Herbert? I don't care who's a running back. We need to pay Justin Herbert. So
if you pay a running back over a quarterback, you're dumb.
Right, and Ekeler, again, he outplayed massively his second contract, which is, I guess, a testament to our front office and also him, and he deserves a payday. I just don't think it's responsible or wise for the Chargers to give him that, considering, again, he's coming up on 28, which, like it or hate it, 30 is that real point where you just can't give guys double-digit in the millions column anymore. So.
Yeah, but Eckler's second contract was so reasonable.
Right, and he outplayed it towards the end, which – credit to him, he's going to get a payday. I don't think it's going to happen with the Chargers.
I'm waiting for that day, and I mean, I guess it hasn't happened yet. In terms of like how we saw with Christian McCaffrey, like kind of the 49ers wanting him, but I'm waiting for the day where teams are just like, we're not going to pay him. Just period.
We're seeing it at quarterback right now with Lamar Jackson. That's a guaranteed money problem, but I think that reckoning is coming for the running back position, I think.
It's happening. I think it's about to happen across the board. We see that, like you said, with the wide receiver market. Teams just aren't going to pay, like, number 2's Christian Kirk money. No, he had a good year, but he's not a $20 million guy.
Jacksonville had to pay him that, and the rest of the guys overpaid to go to a team with 2 wins in 2 years. Like, that was just a unique circumstance.
That whole deal, right? Because he would have, he could have probably taken 15, elsewhere, but.
Right.
It's just, it doesn't make any sense. Like, because at the end of the day, like, we see how to win games, right?
Quarterback and defense.
Defense, even
Tight
still,
ends.
like, take it or leave it. We like a decent one,
Right. I'm not saying like top 3. I mean, like, can not give up 30 points unanswered in a half of football. That's all it really takes. So I think it. I mean, look at the Niners. They dragged Brock Purdy to a playoff win. Denver as well. Not super recently, but they dragged Peyton Manning to the Super Bowl. Look at Seattle as well.
Seahawks, Seahawks did with Russ.
Right.
It's either have a super elite defense and have a pretty good quarterback, or have
the inverse
quarterback and have a pretty good defense.
But in none of those equations is a running back getting paid $15 million a year. So, Derrick Henry is the best running back in football. The Titans don't want to pay him, and they have no one else to pay. So, I think this is just they want to burn it to the ground. One, because Tannehill sucks now. But I think that, and now is being generous. He's kind of not been that great the whole time. But you trade away A.J. Brown, and your ceiling kind of falls well below worth paying a running back and a quarterback $30 million combined. So, I don't know what Tennessee's going to do, but
obviously Christian McCaffrey is the only one that it's like maybe, just because like
He's
go line up 5,
because he can do more than 3.4 yards a carry 25 times.
Yeah, and
correct. That's 99.9% of guys.
He's the exception of paying running backs.
Like, I wouldn't even pay Jonathan Taylor, honest to God.
It showed it this year.
Right, because exactly. A season like this is exactly why you don't do that.
Who? I'd pay Christian McCaffrey.
Nick Chubb?
No.
No.
Too much running.
I think he's just aided by that scheme, really.
Yeah.
And Kareem Hunt's there too. We forget about that.
True. I always forget he's there.
who, by the way, does a really good job when he plays.
Right.
Yeah.
Similar to Pollard in Dallas. Yeah.
He kicks him to the curb.
It's just, what percentage, like what, let's say you got a 25% chance of winning the Super Bowl with an average running back. What percent does that go to with an elite running back? 28?
Not past 30.
It would have been higher if, we saw the 49ers making a run, but something unfortunate happened in that game. You lose both your quarterbacks.
Right. And they got to QB4.
Yeah.
I think they really might have been the best team in the NFL last year, post McCaffrey deal. But
yeah.
The QB injuries were a problem
See,
early.
If you look at all these other teams with all these other teams with like high profile running backs like Dalvin Cook, there's Madison. They got a solid backup that they know that they can just keep running them in and out.
I said earlier when the Ekeler news broke, it's the most replaceable position in football.
Yeah.
And the names are flashy and the highlights are great, but you get very similar production enough to not lose you a net large amount of games from the backups.
Yeah, you can say Tony Pollard is a better running back than Ezekiel Elliott.
I think he is. You could be generous to Zeke and say 1A, 1B, but Jerry Jones is just a senile idiot. That's just a whole different, unique set of circumstances there. They trade away Amari Cooper for nothing and insist on paying 2 running backs. So that's just that's a choice. But I think right now for the Chargers, I wouldn't love the idea of moving forward with, I guess, Joshua Kelly and Isaiah Spiller. That's just, you guys probably have no idea who those guys are. Spiller's a recent draft pick from A&M.
Who cares?
Spiller went to Texas A&M.
Yes, he did. Right, but in the last year of Herbert's rookie deal, you punt on running back and that duo fails and you can't run the ball, then you're going to have issues.
That's why you pay Justin Herbert $45 million a year.
Right, we're not going to yet. I'm saying this is the last year until we do, and we're in cap absolute Alcatraz next year. So that's when you see Keenan Allen gone, Khalil Mack gone, maybe Joey Bosa gone. This is.
Is this year 4 of the rookie deal?
Yes.
Oof.
You see what I'm saying? Like that again, this is unique to the Chargers specifically, but I think that
this year your boy has an 8.5 cap hit. Next year
that's gonna go up 5-fold.
Did they already pick up the 5th year?
They probably picked up the 5th year on draft night, to be honest with you.
Because market value right now is at 42.5.
Right, and again, whatever, him and Burrow will be within a couple $1 million. I'm sure there'll be some language to one up the other, but those are the 2 clear best QBs coming up for paydays, and the Chargers not having the playoff success that Cincinnati has. I think that you gotta be a little more careful with messing with the roster. Like if the Bengals get rid of Mixon and get Ekeler, you're talking about AFC favorite immediately.
That'd be quite the flip.
So let's play this game. Total contract value. Where does Justin Herbert fit in? Say above or below? Patrick Mahomes, 450.
Below.
Josh Allen, 258.
Probably above, honestly.
So he's going to be the number 2 biggest contract.
Yeah.
Right. Deshaun and guaranteed money is probably, but yeah. You're talking about total or per year?
Total contract value. Guaranteed, Deshaun. Jesus.
Right. You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Is 100% at 200.
Right. That's semantics, but yeah.
Even Patrick Mahomes is only 14%.
Right, but doesn't he own part of the team now and stuff like that too?
He owns part of the Royals.
Royals, yeah.
Whatever.
And his
I don't know how they did that.
Wife is like, I'm gonna buy the women's soccer team. Yeah, that TikTok money. What the hell are you talking about?
And his brother is
going to jail.
Bail money. Yeah. So that's
So you think? I think it's very obvious that Justin Herbert's gonna break. We're gonna exclude Deshaun Watson here just because that's such an outlier.
Right. But, and as Lamar's finding out, that will never happen again.
Correct. Yeah. Practical guaranteed. Number 2 is Kyler Murray at 190, which is also a lot.
About him. Yeah.
And that's gonna be. I think he's gonna be closer to 200 million.
And again, I think whatever general spot him
And
or
Burrow's
Burrow
gonna be more
land,
than
the
that.
other will find themselves very close to.
Yeah.
So,
Agreed.
and I think
And
if they
then-
are 2 and 3 in money, however you want to spend the wording of it, I think that's kind of fair, honestly. I mean, talent-wise, I think they're both very close. They're both clearly, two of the better young quarterbacks in the league. It feels like everybody has a young QB, especially in the AFC. But
we're getting one.
I'd have Burrow 1.
oh, I would too. I think as a player, I'm biased too, but I would lean
Yeah.
Herbert. But obviously, you look at body of work, it's Burrow. Stats, Herbert, playoffs, Burrow, and they don't put you in Canton for stats most of the time.
What about Trevor in a couple years?
Yeah, I think Trevor, not to his own fault, but was put in such a terrible situation. It's going to take time for him to really, truly dig them out. I think this was a
He
huge
did it.
step,
He
but-
did it. He made it to the playoffs. Beat y'all.
Let's
Right, but they
see.
also picked one after his first year. So
And he
I
also
think
played the NFC South or AFC South.
Still, win's a win.
Let's see what he does after this year with Calvin Ridley.
right. I think repeatability is a big thing. There's going to be a lot of hope, which is warranted, like you said, Ridley.
Are they
coming
losing
into an
anybody?
offense that outperformed.
They
They
franchise
lost
tagged Ingram.
Left tackle or whatever.
Jawan Taylor, now a Chief.
Yeah.
More good news for my Chargers. Trying to run through my head of notable
I'm
They
looking.
tagged Ingram.
reportedlies.
They get Calvin.
Yes.
So Jawan Taylor got 4 for 80 to KC.
Right.
Their tight end got 2 for 6. He went to Denver, so that's nothing because they tagged. What's his name?
Evan Ingram.
Right. And then other than that, you got Shaquille Griffin. I'm not sure if he's even good anymore.
He's,
Is
I mean,
Is he the one
he's
with
worth
the,
keeping
the
around.
hand?
No, he's the brother of
Or the
Marvin
one with-
Jones. Marvin Jones is a free agent, but he last year he had 16 games, 500 yards, so he can go. So yeah, there's not really anybody.
Yeah, I mean,
I
quarterback
think
paydays
that-
in mind. I've alluded to it a bit, but I mean, where are we thinking the Lamar Jackson saga ends, aside from south of $230 million guaranteed?
I think it's going to end up with him just back in Baltimore on the non-exclusive.
Yeah. Is he screwing?
That
I
would
mean, he's
be
screwing himself over with
vote.
not having an agent.
Yeah,
Schefter reported today that Ray offered $200 million
which he's an idiot not to take.
guaranteed.
I just don't know how you're going to be the second best quarterback in your division to Burrow and demand some sort of record-breaking payday, especially when the guy that got paid
He's got an MVP.
and Deshaun Watson. I don't care.
Everyone forgets how long ago, like 2019 is or whatever in the
Yeah.
NFL.
Right, but you never forget the
4
fact he
years
lost
ago.
to Ryan Tannehill at home in the playoffs.
Correct.
I mean, if we're going to, I think, fairly decide between Burrow and Herbert based on that, I don't care if you won 4 MVPs. If you can't win a home playoff game, what good is that, honestly? And that's kind of what the discourse about Josh Allen's trending towards. It's like all these accolades are great, but if you want a snow game, you lose in the snow, then
He's in like year 5 and he's already made it to the AFC Championship game.
right. But now he can't even get back there. I mean, this is 1 year, but I think
They had a
that,
guy almost die.
which is fine.
That's whatever. That's
yeah.
whatever.
That's a
Like,
sign.
it's not like he lost this year to.
No, it wasn't a
Ryan.
Baltimore-Tennessee situation.
He lost to Joe Burrow in a
Right.
great Cincinnati defense.
Yeah.
Which they actually lost both starting safeties today, which is interesting.
He
Yeah,
didn't
but
lose to
that-
Trevor
that-
Lawrence up 33-0.
They drafted a first-round safety last year to replace him.
Yeah, Atlanta though getting Bates, him and
Von Bell dipping.
right Von Bell to the Panthers. Who am I not thinking of in Atlanta in the secondary that we know very well?
AJ
AJ.
Terrell.
That's going to be a dangerous secondary.
If he's healthy.
Well, they don't need to lose games anymore. But speaking of Atlanta, did you guys see the Falcons traded for Johnny Smith today? Or signed, traded? I don't know. One of the two.
Who?
Who that is?
The Falcons.
Johnny-
He was
the
most
tight
recently
end?
with the Patriots. Yeah, I forget where he started. Maybe Tennessee. I don't know.
Yes.
Just doesn't
I
seem
think
like
he
a
was-
team that would be bringing in tight ends. But,
Well, the one that they got, they don't use anyway. So
which is insane because he was picked 4th overall.
Yeah, right.
Which I'm starting to warm up to the idea of the Chargers going tight end at 21. But Little lower risk down there in that range.
Yeah, but the lower risk is Michael Meyer, like we talked about earlier. He's
Yeah.
definitely
No, and
lower
I tend to agree.
than Washington.
I just worry about, freak athlete size, all this stuff. You play like Gronk, great, but you don't play like Gronk. Also not great.
Who are you
again,
talking
the
about
Chargers,
saying that?
Mayer.
like a guy his size that can obviously is a physical presence, going to dominate whatever he needs to do, pass blocking, whatever.
Kelsey.
But
Kittle.
we saw like the litany of elbow issues with Gronk and things like that. And it's not an absolute certainty. You can be a game changer like Kelsey and seemingly never miss a game and have 300 yards every time you play the Chargers. But I think that's my only concern is we need to win right now before Herbert gets $42-45 million a year. And I'm not saying next year's Super Bowl or bust, but if we take maybe a higher floor, I don't know. I haven't looked at it enough really. I don't know that that's necessarily Mayer though.
The thing is, when was the last time a tight end from Notre Dame missed?
What'd you say, Jake?
You think Darnell Washington has a higher floor?
I don't know. I just have this weird thing about Mayer, and I can't really quantify it with anything substantive. But
Notre Dame cranks out tight ends.
No, they do. I mean, it's like Big Ten O linemen.
Cole Kmet.
Do they?
Cole Kmet.
He's from Iowa. Is his last name Kmet? Weird.
Yes.
Darnell Washington Grayson had 160 yards, 150 yards, 450 yards.
Mm-hmm.
You think that's a lower floor or higher floor?
I mean, in an NFL factor where they're not really worried about tight ends, and obviously they had Brock Bauer.
If you're worried about injury concerns, worry about the 6'7", 270 tight end that's got people diving at his knees every play.
I was wrong about tight ends from Notre Dame. My bad.
You had me convinced.
It's Iowa. You're thinking Iowa.
Yeah.
Just like
yes.
I mean, in the championship, in the playoff, Darnell Washington really showed up. 1 catch for 28 yards and 1 catch for 9.
He's a highlight guy.
Well, the second game in the playoffs, they were up 50-0 in like halftime.
It right. Also doesn't help when the guy across the side is Brock Bowers.
Right.
Once again, that's a Michael Mayer type.
That is. Yeah. That's another.
A little bit more freakishly athletic Michael Mayer.
He was scary as Myers when we played him.
Who do you think the Chargers should draft to give you best position to win next year? Because to me, you're not corner. One piece
offensive coordinator.
But does corner get you there?
No, we needed depth because of injuries last year. I think who we had on paper was fine.
You think?
I don't think there's a single pick that gets us there. But I think position-wise,
you're not gonna like this. What I'm about to say. You're not gonna like what I'm about to say. I don't think Justin Herbert's a Super Bowl guy.
I mean, neither is Josh Allen to this point.
I don't like Josh Allen either. I think he's a crybaby. I don't think he'll win one either. But
I mean, I think at this point we couldn't get Burrow. We made the right choice between him and Tua, so we're kind of left with that.
Yeah, I mean, you made the right call. That's right. Not my point. My point is just if you can't win with Justin Herbert on a rookie contract, you're not going to be able to win with Justin Herbert when he's making $50 million a year.
No, we're probably not, unless we get like Seattle and have a bunch of undrafted guys on defense.
You're not even sniffing like winning it all right now. I just don't think Justin Herbert has that dog in him, A. And B, the throwing motion concerns me.
Well, I mean, I think playing through broken ribs and a torn labrum is some semblance of dog, but, I'm no doctor.
No. Dog is different. Dog is different than heart, okay, and toughness. It is. It's different.
Right,
Joey B, that's dog in him. I don't think he's that tough.
Patrick Mahomes, dog.
Well, Mahomes limped around with an ankle injury until he was walking off the podium. So
or tore it all.
Yeah, he was lying. Yeah, he was lying about that whole thing. Yeah.
I tend to lean that way. Not biased or anything, but he was making it.
Keep saying she's lying.
But I don't know. I mean, the most important draft pick of the teams that we associate with is obviously the Panthers at number 1, following a trade with the Bears I don't love the deal they made to get to 1, especially when the first report following that was, hey, call us, we'll trade down with you. But I think it's exciting for Carolina football after losing a franchise
that's more
cornerstone
just
to
like
McCaffrey, that they could potentially get QB1 in the building this year.
I think those reports were kind of just like whistleblowing a little bit. Just you make that big deal, you lose DJ Moore to get a number 1 pick, and you're just gonna waste it.
I think it was like, hey, let's see if anybody calls and offers us 3 firsts and 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Like draft day style, getting the picks back. Yeah.
Right. Bailey, give us your immediate reaction.
I was shocked.
As a Panthers fan, as the resident Panthers fan.
I was shocked that we actually did something productive and worthwhile. Did I expect us to go all the way up to number 1? No, I could have seen us trading somehow to get like a number 2, number 3, something to at least get one of those top 3 quarterbacks. And then the picks are okay because, we had extra picks this year, at least from the McCaffrey trade. So we had a little extra to give. But then losing DJ Moore is like you said, who's he going to throw to? Got nobody to throw to now.
Yeah, you lost your 2 best players this year, point blank.
Yeah.
And got a first overall pick where the quarterback.
We said it, a couple episodes ago, that it's not a generational quarterback. It's
not. Not on its face, no.
Correct. But if it was a generational prospect, they wouldn't be trading it. Period.
Yeah.
It's just tough, right? Because at the end of the day, if you hit on the guy, none of this matters.
Right now, there's no way to tell who wins the trade until 2026. You see, if DJ Moore has more production than he had here, you could lean them first couple of years. But then, depending on whoever we draft and whatever production we get from them down the road, you could say we won the pick. You never know.
But you guys also have enough cap space to where you can do some things.
And we've already been doing things, at least immediately through free agency. We got a D tackle from the Saints, got Von Bell from the Bengals. We re-signed our center from this year, so
next year, looking at it next year, Mike Evans is a free agent. Do I think they extend him? Probably, but he's there.
Yeah. Is he going to take that deal with Kyle Trask as his quarterback?
That's the thing. Rumors out there, Baker Mayfield. But Curtis
Samuel. How
Samuel.
that went last time he was in the South.
Right. Curtis Samuel, Tyler Boyd.
Former Carolina Panther.
Keenan Allen's going to be available.
Yeah, Keenan Allen will be available. But
technically, Odell's available right now, but I think
he's
in
still
over
be
his
available
head.
next year.
Yeah.
He wants $20 million this year, so he will be available.
Who does?
Odell.
Yes, he will be available.
Yeah.
But if you're Carolina, right, and you're our main focus in the first 2 years is to develop a quarterback. Do you have? Odell's a diva, but do you have that big of a problem paying he's not a top end receiver anymore? He's not.
No.
But a pretty good receiver.
Yeah. You know what you're going to. Yeah.
Kirk effect. It's the Christian Kirk effect. Carolina Panthers are going to have to overpay to get a good receiver.
Yeah. Agreed. It's the exact same thing.
And now's the time to do it with the cap space. So.
Right. Like you said, are they going to go out and get DeAndre Hopkins and trade for him? Probably not. It's probably about our limit of big trades is trading up to get number 1. It's going to have to go get someone that's a free agent.
I just don't understand teams in not necessarily in this instance because it's the 1-1, right? The positional security of a first round QB is minimal, but it kind of pays off. The risk of talent and not evolvement, but progression in a quarterback is mitigated by the contract they're on and how cheap it is relative to how good they can play. But like DeAndre Hopkins, if they're saying you got to give him a third rounder, why not?
Yeah.
I've
I
never
would give up a second or third rounder for him.
I've never understood that because you have positional certainty. Like, you know how good he is in the NFL.
And you have not seen signs of him stopping either.
Correct. Like, even last year when he played, like, he was good. And, like,
With Kyler Murray, QB. Yeah.
You know, if some team like this past year was like, hey, we'll give you Roquan Smith for a second rounder. Done.
Yeah.
I just don't understand that. Like, and that happens.
See, the only thing is like that is on our side, I wonder how many times we've been asked for Brian Burns for a second rounder. Something like that.
Burns is different though because he's so young and he hasn't even got to his second contract. Like, I'm talking about specifically guys that are on like their second, like next year's their second. You know, this is their third contract. Guys that like, okay, we could probably get 5 good years out of them, but
trade him for a pick to get a guy we can have for 8 years.
But if I'm Carolina, my entire goal, you just traded for 1-1, trade the rest of your picks, but make your quarterback develop as fast as it can. You should. Yeah. I mean, like I understand like guys want to win championships, but you should have paid the guy that the Chiefs signed. Like, you should have like traded a third to get DeAndre Hopkins. Like, just build a line, give him receivers, and say, go play ball, brother.
Yeah, like, we have the offensive line. We had one of the probably top 10 offensive line last year. It's going to protect him, but I mean, like we said, he's going to being thrown to nobody. He's got Laviska Shenault is one of his top receivers.
Right. And there's not necessarily like, it's not a loaded wide receiver class. Like, if this was T. Higgins' year, like, and you have that second round pick, you're like, all right, we can get a really good receiver in the second round.
Yeah.
But this year,
Quentin Johnson's going to go early.
Do we have faith in Quentin Johnson? Do we have a lot of faith in Jordan Addison? Do we have a lot of faith in
Zay Flowers go around 1-2?
Zay Flowers, like, they're nice players, but they're not.
Smith and
they're not Jamar Chase. They're not Justin Jefferson.
Devontae Adams, Jalen Waddle.
I forgot about this. I mean, I know he's old and all, but Adam Thielen's a free agent.
He sucks.
That's
not good.
You're 2 years too late on that.
Yeah.
It's going to be better than what some of the players that we got right now.
Honestly,
because Tommy Trimble sucks.
Honestly, probably not.
For what he's going to command money-wise, no.
That's a good point.
I mean, he doesn't even like touch it. ESPN.
You can spend money without burning it, honestly. I think is the main point there. So
there's a difference.
Yeah.
Like, don't spend it, but
our wide receivers right now are Rashad Higgins, Terrence Marshall, Shi Smith, Preston Williams, and Shenault. So
that's the worst room in the league. I don't even need to hear the other ones. That's atrocious.
Yeah. And you're saying that Adam Thielen wouldn't be better than any of them, but
I don't think he elevates you past like 28th in the NFL. Is the issue.
Yeah, correct. 538 does like a really good job, and they're probably the only ones that do it best in terms of like placing a numerical value on wide receivers. So I'm looking at it right now. AJ Brown was number 1 last year, 88 overall. Justin Jefferson was 2 at an 85. So that, that gives you kind of a baseline there. And Adam Thielen was 58th. He was 58th out of 111. If that
was a low-end second option.
Most of them past 79 are tight ends.
Yeah, so it could be you need to hit him as the first option. You can't be that anymore.
DJ Moore surprisingly was 83rd.
Well, that's a QB problem, not a receiver problem.
I'm not gonna. But they do add that into like there's an open stat in terms of like percentage of what you're open. And DJ Moore was not that high. So
I mean, he was our number 1 wide receiver, but on a lot of teams he's going to be a number 2.
DJ Moore?
But he's going to go to a team where he's going to be the number 1 wide receiver.
I mean, a good team he's going to be a number 2, but the Bears, he's perfect.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's going to be another number 1 receiver with Chase Claypool at the other side.
Chase Claypool's garbage.
North Carolina note is all this young talent defense. They're going to be looking for paychecks soon as well.
Yeah. And some of them are going to get them.
Yeah, that's the one where it's like, okay, if you pay Adam Thielen, you're probably keeping.
We're not going to keep J.C. Horn. We're not going to keep Brian Burns. We're not keeping
then
Jerry
you run into
McKinnon,
the
Jared
Seattle
Brown.
problem.
Yeah, we got too many guys on that side.
You can let a defense like that walk after you win a Super Bowl, like they did. But
quarterback whisperer, who would you think the Panthers would take?
He's going to say Levis.
No,
Levis or Richardson.
Who I think they will take, or who I think they should take?
Both. Yeah.
I've been debating this a lot. I've had a lot of soul searching.
Get a mill.
I think they'll take Anthony Richardson.
I know. I'm scared of that. I'm so scared of that.
Honest to God, you don't make this trade.
Project quarterback.
You don't make this trade unless you think that guy is generational.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud and Bryce Young are good prospects. They're top 5 prospects, but they are not generational. Anthony Richardson is the only one with the absolute ceiling to be generational.
And the floor is
Anthony Richardson could lead you to a Super Bowl in year 4. Honest to God. Anthony Richardson could make you pick first overall next year and give it to the Bears. So,
yeah. I'm scared that it's going to be Richardson.
It's more palatable at like 4 than at 1.
If we would have traded up to like 3 or 4 or 2 or even, I could have been like, all right, they're probably thinking they like Richardson. They don't trust anybody above them. But going to 1 and knowing who's there, but knowing that they could pick a damn, they could get Jalen Carter for Christ's sakes if they wanted to. But I know they're not. It's just that uncertainty of our front office that is lovely.
If you pass on Stroud and Young at 1 and you get it wrong, then every single human body in that building is getting fired.
Hang on. We're all missing this. We're all kind of thinking this in terms of a Panthers perspective, and not a great organization. We can all kind of admit that.
They can't even build a center of operations, right?
Nope.
So, yeah.
No, but is Frank Reich that stupid?
No.
I think he doesn't get enough credit.
Fucking Matt Rule was. He would have been drafted.
He would have
drafted an offensive lineman. I don't think Rule would have made that trade, period. I think Reich came in.
It's a ballsy trade.
That's why everybody was like shocked and didn't know like how to react to it. They're just like, what?
I think they should draft CJ Stroud.
Thank you.
I would agree.
Regardless of how pure of a passer Bryce Young is, the body
5'11".
Yeah.
5'10".
I mean, how tall is Baker? Like, I'm not comparing, but like, how tall? He's 6 foot.
So Baker's 6. Kyler Murray's 5'10", but and they're like the same weight. They're noticeably different builds.
As PFT says, measure to the eyes. That's all that matters.
I just don't think like CJ Stroud, the upside's there. I think CJ Stroud and Bryce. I think CJ Stroud's ceiling might be higher just because of.
I think it is
the build.
Yeah. Just purely on what you can potentially bank on availability wise, just because of
what you see already.
Right. I mean, if
Bryce did get hurt this past year too, which like
if Ruggles makes a 35-yard field goal, whatever it was, we're talking a whole lot differently about CJ Stroud. Fair or not.
Yeah.
If they beat Georgia, there is no more discussion.
They're winning the national championship.
Yeah, he's first pick.
And there's no more discussion about his number 1.
Correct.
This is set in stone.
Correct.
Done.
It's the greatest comeback in college playoff history. Right. It's I guess they were up
because some skinny white kid decided to trot out there and bring in the new year with an absolute shank, then that's why we have 1A, 1B.
I think that might be the best point, like to draft CJ Stroud, is that if a kicker makes one kick,
he's the
first of all, there's no trade.
There's
from 9. That price goes way higher. You're not getting 8 spots up.
Oh.
I thought you were just talking about in general.
No. There's no Panthers deal based on what they already paid.
Correct. That's 3 first and DJ Moore.
Right. Let's be honest.
That right there is just the best point.
Yeah.
We would not be here talking about this though if Davis Mills did not convert that 2-point conversion against the Colts or whoever or the Titans. So, because Texans, when we're not trading, they're getting a quarterback. They're like, screw off, we're getting our quarterback.
It's Stroud to the Texans. We're talking about.
I think the Texans like Stroud. Anyways, I think they're going to get him at 2.
If we go Young or Richardson,
I don't think Bryce Young is the guy for you to mortgage your future on. For if you're there in that spot, if you're the Bears, you don't have a QB, fine, take Bryce Young, whatever. But he's not the prospect to move up like that. CJ Stroud is. Anthony Richardson is. Unfortunately,
yes, I know.
Will Levis is a douche, and he's gonna burn out in the NFL. Because he's
Jimmy coffee.
Because he's a douche. It's Jimmy Clausen. So
Panthers legend.
So
shit, that does not bode well.
I mean, if you take Will Levis, you're screwed.
I will never wear a Panthers shirt again.
I would renounce my fandom if you take Will Levis.
I'm going to Jacksonville if we do that.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah.
I wish
April 24th. We'll find out.
I wish for you this was Caleb Williams Drake May.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's a lot closer to Burrow Herbert than what we have right now.
Yeah.
Where there's a QB1 and then there's a correct wrong.
There's more question marks than exclamation marks.
Right. We're closer to last year's draft class than 2 years prior, unfortunately.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah.
Sam Howell might be the guy in Washington.
We've said that about 4 quarterbacks in 3 years, I feel like, in Washington. So
Mike White's the new guy in Miami.
Miami.
No shot Tua stays healthy.
No, they got him for what? 2 years, $8 million? That's nothing.
Yeah. 2 for 8, yeah.
I mean, for a guy that's going to start 20 games, that's nothing.
Yeah, it's going to start.
I mean, that, honestly.
Right. You good for him, man. $8 million?
Yeah.
Speaking of league-altering news, the Chargers signed Eric Kendricks, the linebacker from Minnesota. So, Super Bowl party's back on.
Just now?
20 minutes ago.
Dang. He's pretty good, Jacob. He's pretty good.
Let me have my thinning, weak flame of hope.
He's good?
Yes.
Yeah, he's Pro Bowler.
Oh, Pro Bowls matter. Derek Carr made it.
Well, everybody QB makes it now. No one wants to go.
Yeah, that's true.
Who was? Tyler Huntley made it.
Yeah. Josh Allen went and shot 285s at some nice golf course instead of going down and doing that. So
I would.
That's right. It's in Vegas now, not Hawaii.
Yeah.
That is what it is. That's
probably a lot of
NFL.
There's a lot of NFL and college basketball talk.
Yeah, I mean, when you catch us the day after Clemson's snub and the day of NFL really getting rolling as we flip pages to the 23-24 season, that kind of is how it works. But, we snuck some softball in there. Clemson 25-1. I mentioned it earlier. Valerie Cagle, perfect 5 innings with 8 strikeouts and an 18-0 nail biter against Mercer.
Yep.
This past Wednesday. So 10 of 25 wins for softball have come via the run rule, which is just ridiculous.
They're so good.
There's no way around it. They are a juggernaut.
Yeah.
Until we play Oklahoma.
I don't think they can truly get the publicity they deserve because imagine if baseball had kept it rolling last year and started 25-1.
That would be absurd.
Unfortunately, and this is going to sound bad.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I know where you're going.
Oh, there's a clear reason why.
This is how women's sports are. They're uncompetitive at the top.
Look at the college basketball scene.
Correct. Look at the women's soccer team. UNC won like 30 straight national titles.
Women's the UNC just hired a 24-year-old as their coach. They're a head coach for their women's lacrosse team.
Really?
Or field hockey. Sorry.
Field hockey. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean,
it's just a different dynamic, but I think that Clemson softball is breaking through that, at least locally, and how they continue to win. And I don't check polls. I kind of come across them as they come out. I don't know where we've moved. There's not much room to move up.
Well,
in
according to
softball polls.
D1, we're at 6.
Ooh.
Okay, we're a top 5 team right now.
It's Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, UCLA, Tennessee, Stanford, us.
Okay, well,
That makes
Tennessee,
sense.
I get that's a low loss.
Yeah.
So
We got the
I
most
think-
wins out of anybody in the nation, though.
I go by the ESPN US softball poll though. So
Is that what the scoreboards goes?
and we're 4th.
Okay, so you could say top 5, absolute moral lock for top 10 right now. I think that's pretty.
Oh, we're
We're
fair
hosting.
place to put
We're
it.
hosting. We got a super
Right,
regional.
we're angling towards Oklahoma City. Not for my beloved
Unfortunately,
Thunder.
RPI
But
we're 14th.
what was that?
Unfortunately for us, we are 14th in RPI.
Well,
What does that mean for softball?
I don't know.
that metric was so good for basketball, they've replaced it 5 times. So
They
I think that
Yeah.
that's fine. RPI net, it's all bullshit. Don't listen to it.
Don't listen to the propaganda, man.
Yeah.
It'll get
Watch
you.
Valerie Cagle play softball and then tell me 14th in anything. 0.58 ERA or something absolutely stupid like that.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, that's mostly it this week. Bailey's Kings 2 seed out west. Big matchup against the Bucks, tipping in about an hour, I think. So
Yep.
that'd be a good one to watch.
Some money on them to win. Yeah.
We beat Oklahoma in softball.
Huh?
I think we would beat Oklahoma in softball right now.
I would love the opportunity to,
Me too.
but that's postseason.
Oh no, they beat UCLA 14-0.
They yeah.
Number 2. Number 2.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, that's right. We will see.
We will see in Oklahoma City, hopefully. But you guys have anything else this week?
WBC. Tap into that or
WBC, I'll do it.
I mean,
WBC
Patrick Sandoval
I am-
shoving last night for 50 pitches.
I am hereby putting the onus on all United
Pitchers.
States-born pitchers
Yes.
play in the WBC. It's an embarrassment. It's a travesty. And it should reflect upon your legacy if you do not play in this. I understand how insurance works, but put your money where your mouth is.
would the boy put his money where his mouth is?
No.
94 overall on the show. Couldn't be bothered to give
Clip.
a single damn about.
Right.
Well,
Clip that. Clip that.
He did not get asked. He did not get asked.
that's also an indictment needs to be handed out. Who the hell decided not to make that request?
I don't know. Did not get asked. I'm sure Corbin Burns.
Tucker
got-
Davidson's down there. Why the hell is Spencer Strider not?
What?
What? He's not on the WBC.
He's down there. I don't know if he's on the roster. He might
He's on
not
the
be.
pitcher
Aaron
pool?
Loop is down there. So that's another angel that
Is
should be
he?
down
Are you
there.
saying he's down there because spring training is in Arizona and they're playing in Arizona right now?
That's probably why. I don't know. I heard him on a podcast interview Patrick Sandoval. And he mentioned being in the area. So that might be more accurate. But
Come on, Bryson.
I do know that Aaron Loop is there as a reliever and our bullpen is absolute garbage. So that is an accurate reflection of how bad the pitching staff is. Adam Wainwright opened it up for us. Like, what the
Yeah.
hell?
Aaron Loop had a 2-1 last year, dude.
I realize that.
I didn't realize he was like actually good.
Well, it's kind of hard when the unit as a whole is atrocious after a certain trade we won't speak of again. But
That's right.
I think he has some injuries too. I don't know. We're 30 seconds on the Angels is too much. Bottom line, our pitching is bad because no one wants to do it, which is embarrassing. And it might take, if we don't get out of the pool stage this time around, it may be like similar to USA basketball, and they were so bad that pros decided to actually give a shit and go play. So
No, I think that the opposite would happen. So I think
well, that's ridiculous.
I think this year is the year where guys were like, oh man, like 17 looks so fun. A lot of guys have said that. 17 looks so fun. I had to be a part of it this time. Well,
Trout.
Yeah, guys are going to be like, well, if we didn't win it with this crew, like, why would I care?
I mean, the lineup is absolutely disgusting. I mean, Mike Trout opted in and then started recruiting, and he,
it worked.
It shouldn't have fallen on him anyway to go into the complete roster. He got the hitters sorted out. I mean, I don't know really. There's got to be some sort of pitch to make this more effective. To we're not watching 45-year-old Adam Wainwright give up solo shots to Great Britain.
I mean, unfortunately, convince the Yankees.
Yeah. I mean, Judge is not playing.
Bro, Garrett Cole. We already saw what happened to the Yankees' recent big investment with Carlos.
Right.
And that was just normal spring training. Add in the extra fatigue, tryingness of the WBC.
There's like a 65 pitch limit, though. I mean,
it's not about that. It's about the intensity. It's about the effort of those 65. Like,
that's fair.
If you go,
these are playoff games.
Yeah, right.
If you crowd.
In March. If you
atmosphere-wise, yes.
Go look at the rate of injured pitchers, like pitcher injuries of guys that are bubble on the roster versus like guys that are secure. It's a lot higher for like bubble guys because they're not necessarily fully ramped up. They're not used to it yet. They don't have 3 months in. And then now you're going to add that in with Corbin Burns, Jacob deGrom, who already has injury history, Carlos Rodon, Garrett Cole. I guess like in a way though, like we don't even need that. We need like the B-level starters. Like we need number 3s to play.
Right. I mean, guys like Sandoval who's playing for Mexico. Like if we can get that level of competency as a standard in the pitching staff, I think the lineup would do more than enough to compensate for not having the best of the best, like the 1s and 2s, like you mentioned.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, something's going to have to happen, right?
Yeah. I mean, how cool is it to see Ohtani absolutely tearing the cover off the ball? I don't know if he's pitched yet, but
he has, and he shoved.
Yeah.
That's not surprising.
Those
open first pitches suck, unfortunately.
He throws for the next game, by the way, Grayson, in case you want to watch.
At 4 a.m. is a problem.
Yeah, correct. But Japan, for their first exhibition game before the WBC, they had 35 million viewers for that.
Yeah. Did they play Korea this?
I don't know.
Are they I don't think they're in the pool.
Yeah, no. Korea just set the record for most runs scored.
So they had 22 in like 7 innings.
Yeah, because Canada just had 18 like the night before, which was their record.
Jeez.
Did y'all see the 5-way tie for one of the pools? And it came down to runs.
It's the U.S.'s pool, or it may come down to that as well.
Yeah, it was like runs scored and team outs or something like that.
Yeah, there's a very odd tiebreaker in place. Yeah.
And then I didn't know this, but like if you finish the top 4 in your pool, you're automatically in for the next WBC.
Right. Yeah. It's like relegation. There's like a quasi relegation. Yeah. Japan plays. Oh, they play Italy on Thursday.
It's double elimination, right?
6 a.m. That'll be cool. Start off your day. I think Bailey. Yeah. I think that wraps us up for the night.
Yeah. That should be the end of hiatus season. But
our podcast, South Carolina baseball player hit a grand slam the other night.
Yeah, I want to absolve myself totally and completely from all of that.
Yeah, I'm just constantly getting shit on by that guy.
Your last name is now Messina. I'm sorry. That's just kind of how these Twitter streets work.
We're trying to get him on, and then he buried you.
Well, I mean, hopefully the screenshot he took and stored for 14 hours didn't affect his phone storage too much.
That was such a loser move.
But it was also like
his first and last mention like ever.
Correct.
To be fair, you don't even have to search your own name when you're getting a tweet per. We'll be nice to the kid month adding you. So, bit of a strategic error on the part of the podcast. But had he not hit that, it'd have been really funny. But
yeah, and then it doesn't help when just giving up bombs on the Sunday game.
Breaking news: we have a quarterback signing.
It's not Aaron Rodgers.
To the Saints.
Who?
Oh, he's
Jameis Winston to the Saints.
So they have their starter now. That's nice for the Saints.
The hate for Derek Carr is absurd.
I mean, the guy has more eye black than meaningful wins. So I guess eye shadow. Might be what he prefers. But
mascara.
So, lacrosse is 14th in the USA Lacrosse magazine and 24th in the IWLCA.
Sure. Give you $100. You know what that stands for? Without Googling it or looking at it on your phone.
International Women's Lacrosse.
All right, Rain Man, that's enough. I see steam and gears moving around.
Intercollegiate Women's Lacrosse Coaches Association. I could have got that one.
It's amazing your recall when you have something at eye level. I commend you for that. But yeah, that is it this week. We're on Twitter. Just hit 400 followers over there at the 1009. So if you're already following, appreciate it. If you're not, then help us get to 500. And this will be on Apple and Spotify like normal. YouTube if you want to look at Jacob's fun backgrounds throughout this evening. No spoilers to get your eyes over there, but at least 4 backgrounds throughout this, I believe. So something to keep track of as you listen and watch along.
Time for next week.
Yeah, that'll be our new bit to get the YouTube numbers up. But that's all I got this week.
From 0 to 1.
No more hiatuses. We will talk to you guys next week.
Hey, boys.
Deuces.
Subscribe.